Hello, welcome to the self-learning platform by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today we start Unit 8, UN System, Peacekeeping, Peacemaking and Adjudication. And our topic is the World Trade Organization. The General Agreement on Trade and Traffic GATT was converted into the World Trade Organization WTO with some changes. The GATT had a dispute settlement mechanism and the WTO mechanism was patterned on it. The agreement establishing the WTO provides that its General Council, consisting of the representatives of all the parties of the agreement, has the responsibility to form a dispute settlement body DSB. The membership of the DSB is the same as that of the General Council, but has separate rules of procedure, staff, and document series. Disputes that arise under WTO agreements are submitted to panels consisting in accordance with the understanding on the rules and procedure governing settlement of disputes DSU. A panel is an ad hoc body constituted for the particular dispute. The Secretariat of the DSP maintains a roster of well qualified persons, that is, persons who were involved previously in dispute settlement either as panelists or counsel or those who served in trade office or in GATT secretariat or who have been teaching and writing on international trade law. When the clause in the agreement covering the dispute requires consultation, the complaining party must initiate the consultation with the other party and the other party must respond within 10 days. All consultations must be completed within 30 days. If consultations do not fructify in a settlement or the dates prescribed are not kept, a request may be made to the DSB to constitute a panel. The DSP constitutes a panel at its regular meeting or at a meeting called specially for the purpose. The panel must adhere to the prescribed rules of procedure of receiving written settlements, oral presentations, and written rebuttals within the prescribed time limits. The panel must prepare a report containing a descriptive part of the dispute, the undisputed part of the dispute, and the rival contentions of the parties. The draft of the report must be sent to the parties for their response. After receiving the response in time, an interim report is prepared and submitted to the parties. After receiving the comments of the parties, the final report is sent to the DSP. All this process up to the DSP receiving the report must be completed within 14 to 18 weeks. The final report goes into effect unless the DSP by consensus disapproves the report. The panel is thus an effective third party decision maker, but a safeguard is provided against possible mistakes. There is the appellant body holding office for a period of 4 years. Continuity is maintained in the appellant body by staggering the appointments. An appeal may be made within 60 days of the issuance of the final report of the panel. The appellant body can review only on questions of law. The appellant body gives its report to the DSB. If the report finds that there is no violation of the agreement covering the dispute, the case is over and the losing party cannot resort to any retaliatory action concerning the alleged violation. On the other hand, if the report finds that there has been a violation, the panel or the appellant body will recommend to the aggravated party to resort to retaliatory action. The losing party may inform the DSP that it will comply with the report in a phased manner or within reasonable period, subject to the approval of DSP. The reasonable period has the prescribed time limit, which in any case do not exceed 15 months. If the losing party takes measures to comply with the report of the panel or appellant body, the issue will then be whether there was full compliance, and this again will be a dispute to be submitted to the panel. The above is the novel system of third party dispute resolution created to deal trade disputes, especially those concerning restrictions on trade and traffic. Now, the summary of the unit. As we observed, violent conflicts that require UN intervention generally have three phases. First, there is an ongoing violent conflict between two or more parties when the UN assumes the role of the peacemaker in an effort to end the violence. Once the ceasefire has been established, the second phase begins. Here, the UN takes the role of peacekeeper to enforce the ceasefire. In the third phase, the UN takes up peace building efforts which seek to rebuild infrastructure, political institutions, and trust in order to prevent future conflict. These phases can overlap, though peacekeeping generally occurs after peace has been negotiated. However fragile that may be, as we saw in the numerous examples, peacekeeping and peacemaking can go on at the same time. While the principal methods of peacemaking are negotiation, inquiry, mediation, conciliation, arbitration, judicial settlement, etc., in actual practice, it may include coercive methods and even violent interventions, while some have suggested that judicial settlements can be effectively used for peacemaking. It should be noted that the international judicial system is still rudimentary. The jurisdiction of the ICJ is limited to the states, and that too states which have consented to accept, in one form or the other, the jurisdiction of the court. Moreover, there is no mechanism for the enforcement of the decisions of the ICJ. There are other judicial bodies such as the European Court of Human Rights, WTO, etc., but their jurisdiction is limited. Here we want to wind up this lecture and we have come to the end of the unit. Thank you so much for your attention.